Well, hello. I thought I'd make this video because I've just received this Motorola MA1. I ordered it because of this thing here, the Carlinkit 4. I ordered that a few weeks ago. It's taken me about a week to get it going, and it was so frustrating. I decided to order the Motorola kit because this thing's not reliable. I've eventually managed to get this working, so I'm going to tell you what things I managed to do to get it to work in case you've bought one, you want to proceed with it. And I'm just about to go and try and see whether this works first time. This didn't. This was awful. It took a lot of searching on the internet to find the answers on how to get it working. And I'll go more into that in a minute. Right, let's try and plug it in, shall we, and see what happens. Right, there we go, and I've now paired it up. It was quite quick. It's easy enough. Just go into your Bluetooth settings, pair up. It's automatically connected up, and I can see the Android Auto button, not CarPlay, on the screen. So if I click on that, blow me down, it works first time. There we go, and actually, that is quick compared with the Carlinkit. That was very quick. Wow, yeah, a big difference. Big difference in responsiveness. So let's have a quick look at Google Maps. Nothing wrong with that, is there? Yeah, just based on that alone, my money I would spend, that cost me £105 for the Motorola, compared with £90 for the Carlink 4, which is going back, and for the extra £15 I would put money on this. The other thing to bear in mind with Motorola claim on their website that this device uses the licensed Android Auto head unit software. So the argument they've got is the fact that it will automatically update whenever Android produce a new update on Android Auto on your phone. This thing will be keeping pace with it. They claim that others, in quotes, and I'm sure Carlink 4 is probably in that bucket, along with the other one I saw on Amazon. They have approached it by a different angle. The way I think, that I'm assuming, as I'm a software architect, so I've got a little bit of experience, but I'm assuming what Carlink 4 have done, and their other competitor, is they've looked at what the interface is coming out of the back of a phone, Android Auto, and then they're basically mapping that across to what they think the head unit needs to see. And the fact that Carlink 4 uses pretends to be Apple CarPlay suggests it's using that sort of like interface, and they just built it on top. The snag with that one is they will only be able to develop what they can see today. If Android have got API calls in there as interface calls that they have not yet enabled on their clients, in this head unit, then Carlink 4 and the others will not necessarily have spotted it, because they won't have been told about it, because you only get that information if you're part of a licensed organisation. So I think the thing with something like the cheaper unit, it might work today, but is there a guarantee it's going to work tomorrow when an upgrade comes? And if it doesn't work tomorrow, how much pain are you going to go through to get it working? You're probably dependent on the supplier to provide an update. If they're a small organisation, that maybe is not so likely. With a case like Motorola, it is it's a big brand, and with big brands you pay a premium, and the premium you're paying for is effectively that it's in their interest to keep it supported. So again, for my money, I think Motorola is worth considering on that fact alone. In fact, the fact that Motorola, this device here that's in there at the moment, has no way of me configuring anything on it. The Carlink 4, you have to attach up by a web page, and you have to tweak things to make it work. It just shows you it's a lower level. It's a bit like somebody's written a Raspberry Pi application and sort of made that available. But I'm doing down Carlink. I mean, it got working. If you bought one, you can get it working, and hopefully it'll work for the foreseeable future. But it's just a case of say, if you can get something like the Motorola, I personally would recommend that. Okay, so this summary then of this Carlink 4 kit. Ordered off Amazon about 2 weeks ago. It took me a week to get going. In bullet terms, what I needed to get, I found the first time I plugged it in, it just gave me the blank screen you see here. I then went in and found that if you, I also found that if you try and connect your phone to the web server, like it says in the manual, it won't work. To connect the phone to the web server, this little 192.168.2.50 IP address, you need to unplug this from the car radio, and you need to plug it into a separate power supply. You can then access it quite like they say on the manual. They don't say that in the instructions. That's really quite useful. Once you can get in there, you can then start tweaking the settings. And the settings I tweaked were, one, I set the display mode, the resolution, took it away from auto, and I set it to my Alpine header units setting of, what was it, 800 by something or other. That then meant I could see the screen then displayed on the thing. That was a eureka moment. The next thing I found was that it showed me that the screen was sort of like in a split screen mode. It had a clock on the left hand. Hunting around on Google, I found that if you set the DPI mode, they say to set the DPI mode between 160 and 260. Helpfully not saying you what. I tried 160, it didn't have any effect. I tried to 260, it worked, so I left it there. That was great. The final thing then, that's fine, it booted up, I could see the screen, it was what I wanted to see. The only snag was it was a bit of a hit and miss. Every time I started this device and connected to it, sometimes it would work without a problem, other times it would sit there flickering on and off. And the touch screen responsiveness wouldn't work. There was nothing there. I found to get around that actually. If you on the Alpine head unit, if I clicked away from our Android Auto and to the radio and then clicked back, magically it seemed to work. God knows what's going on. But that was running the what version of software was it? I think it's September 2022 software, late September 2022 software, which it came with. To get it working properly, I had to roll back this device's software to the previous release. Now, somebody else said they had to roll back two versions to the June version. I think I settled on something like the July. In a minute, we'll see a screen, and that will refresh you as to what I was talking about. And that seems to work. It does it fine. Compared with the Motorola, which I said earlier or later, you'll find that it's not as snappy, but it works. So if you've got one of these things, what I suggest is, first of all, try and do all the settings, take over go into the web service and try and convert, to check it over, and then perhaps roll back the software, or perhaps roll forward, because by the time you've seen this, they may have fixed the bugs and issued a newer one. But be prepared to roll back. It's not exactly clear in their web page, that they call it, I think, fallback or something like that. But that's basically picking up the next version. The way it works when you do go forward or backwards, it'll only go back one version, which is quite handy. So each time you go through the process of, fallback, as they call it, it will go back to the next version, and you can keep repeating that. When you're using the web page, when you've connected to this thing over the Wi-Fi, you have to toggle the Wi-Fi on and off. So you'll start at the web page. You say fallback. It will then tell you to disconnect from the phone's Wi-Fi, from the device's Wi-Fi, and back to your internet provider. And then you can check with the Chinese site where there's a patch of what the version is. It will pull that down. It then tells you to reverse that, connect back to the device, and then it will apply it. Bit strange, but it works. So at the end of the day, it does work. And personally, I wouldn't recommend it compared with the other one. But certainly in the UK, getting hold of the Motorola, it's like hen's teeth. I had to import it from the US, but the Motorola one beats this hands down. Okay, I hope that this video has been useful to you, and let me know as I say, in the comments below. I'm not a YouTube person by norm, but I'm just thinking this is useful stuff for people, and certainly better than the unboxing videos you see where people open up these things and go, oh, wow, look at this lovely shiny case, you know, it's sticky, it will stick on things. I'm hoping it's more useful, and certainly if it helps you get sorted, even better. Any comments, and if other people find other things with the, certainly with the Carlink where they've had to tweak it to get it working, put it in the comments for other people, because it was looking on videos like this that I found the information that I needed, you know, like rolling back the firmware, etc. Was really, really useful. So put your comments down there, it'll help other people. Okay, have a good day, and I hope it's warmer and nicer weather. Well, the weather's not too bad here in England at the moment, but it's certainly chilly. Okay, take care.